What is going on, guys? DBG here, and today we are going to be talking about players that are going to get upgraded in NBA 2K22. So lads, these are guys that are going to get huge upgrades on their base card, and realistically, does that mean much? Not anymore. This would have meant big things back in the day, because things like moments cards would have gotten more upgrades. If you started off as an amethyst, your moments was probably going to get a bigger upgrade and stuff, because moments cards used to actually based off the NBA. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem like my team is based off the NBA anymore. But I'm still going to make this video. Let me know if you guys do enjoy it, because, well, it's some 2K22 news right before the inevitable dev blog that is coming out tomorrow. So anyway, now let's get on to it. So first of all, we got Luka Doncic. So Luka Doncic started off last year as an 89 overall Ruby card. And it's a tough one to see really him going up, because if you actually look at his stats, like he made the All-NBA first team again. So it's kind of the same, but he did play 5 more games, but at the same time he averaged 1.1 less points per game. He averaged 1.4 less rebounds per game and around the same assists per game, with the same amount of turnovers per game. So you could argue he actually had a worse season last year than the year before. But he shot 2% better from the field, and he also shot 4% better from 3. So he did it on less shots. And as well as that, I just think he was a little bit better. He had arguably he had a better playoff series, especially because he hadn't been seeing the playoffs in 2K20 came out, and he had an unbelievable Olympics for Slovenia. So personally, I think after that season, Luka Doncic should go up to a 90 overall amethyst. Again, I've always said I believe that there should be, like, there were 7 amethysts last year, and when I was going through this, I think there should be 10. Like, my 10 amethysts would be like obviously Luka Doncic. It'd be like Luka. It'd be AD is going to go down to Ruby. It'd be like Luka, Dame, and Embiid. Luka, Dame, Embiid, Jokic. Those 4 added to the 6 that were already in the game last year. And next we have got Damian Lillard. As I said, Dame, who was like Jokic and Embiid as well. I'm just going to put in Dame because I kind of like Dame. But yeah, Dame had an unbelievable season. Dame had an unbelievable season. Like, he's not just been unbelievable for a while. Like, the guy shot like almost 40% from 3, shot 45% from field, averaged 28.8 points per game. And I mean, again, he didn't have the greatest Olympics, but he's still part of the Olympics team. So personally, again, as I've said with Luka, I got Dame in here at a 90 overall. Again, I think Jokic gets... Do I think Dame is the least likely of all these to get bumped into amethyst? Yes. I think Jokic... Because I think Harden's a 94 overall. And I don't think they're going to move Harden down to Ruby. So for that reason, I think the 2 other guys that are 94 overalls in the actual rosters, Dame and Luka, are going to come up with the amethyst as well. I think Jokic and Embiid also go because they're both 95. I think if Harden's a Ruby, Dame's going to be a Ruby, and Luka's going to be a Ruby, but I don't think we see Harden dropping either. But Dame, a little bit worse than he was the previous season, but he was still, and Dame was still spectacular last year. Then we got Devin Booker, who started off last year at an 84 overall. And again, this is another weird one, because if you look purely at Basketball Reference, you're like, wait, Devin Booker he averaged more points, he had a better effective field goal percentage on less shots in 2019-20. But the thing is, playoff runs matter. Playoff runs really do matter. Like, in the playoffs, Devin Booker is spectacular, and his team made the NBA Finals. So no longer it's good stats, bad team kind of guy for Dame Lillard. Because that was Devin Booker. That was one of the arguments that people used to always make, was he was good stats, bad team. You can no longer make that argument. So for me, he's gone up to an 87. He's also, this says point guard, shooting guard. He'll be shooting guard, power forward, or small forward. But I think Dame without question, or not Dame, Devin Booker without question is going to go up to 97. I also think Chris Paul might go up to 97. I think Cam Johnson might take the biggest leap. I think he's going to be at least a gold. He might go to an emerald. Like, he was a silver last year. He might take one of the biggest leaps of any player. But Devin Booker is no question about it going up. I would be shocked if CP3 stays the same, but Devin Booker is no question about it going up to a Ruby. Like, an incredible year last year. Again, 25.6 points. Like, one of the best players, arguably the best player on a team that made the finals. He's going to be a Ruby. And then Westbrook. Like, again, I'm not the biggest Westbrook fan. I really am not. And yeah, Westbrook averaged 5 points less in 2021 than he did in 1920. And he got downgraded to a Sapphire. But like, he did it on like 3.5 less shots. He shot 6% better from 3 on more attempts last year than he did the season before that. He also averaged a triple-double again. Whereas last year, in 2019-20, he averaged 7.9 rebounds and 7 assists. He went back to 11.5 rebounds, 11.7 assists, and 22 points. So, like, Westbrook, and again, Washington went on a massive run at one stage. Westbrook had a really, really good year. Again, I'm not the biggest Westbrook fan, but it's a weird one. Like, I've suddenly turned into a Westbrook fan because, like, like, when people were calling him, like, a top 2 point guard in the league, when people were saying, oh, Westbrook's actually better than Steph Curry in 2017, I thought those people were crazy. But now it's flipped the opposite way. Like, people are just like, oh yeah, Westbrook's absolutely worth it. It's like, no, Westbrook was one of the best point guards in the league last season. He was looking like at times, he was one of the best point guards. The fact that, like, he went on a good spell of form, people were saying he's the second best point guard of all time, means we just really live in a world of extremes. But Westbrook definitely not quite as good as people were trying to make him out as being in 2017, but also nowhere near as bad as people make him out when he goes through any sort of a lull in form. Still one of the better point guards in the NBA. I think if Chris Paul, I get it, Chris Paul made the NBA Finals. I would rather have Chris Paul on a team, but I think Chris Paul and Westbrook should be the same rating, and I think they're both going to be an 87, honestly. Then we got Drew Holiday. So again, this is another one, if you're looking purely at stats, being like, okay, he averaged less points for Milwaukee than he did for New Orleans. You might say, oh, sure, that means that he should be shouldn't be going up in overall. But at the same time, like, he shot way better from the free throw line, way better from the field, way better from 3. He won an NBA championship, and not only that, he was the second best player on the USA Olympics team. I know that doesn't take into, like, that has to be taken into account somewhat. He was literally the second best player on a team that contained Damian Lillard. And anyone who tries to argue that he wasn't the second best player in the Olympics did not watch the Olympics. Yeah, Tatum had spells, Levine at spells, Drew was the second. It was the Drew Holiday and KD show. They were the two main men. But yeah, I think Drew's gonna go to an 84 Sapphire. Like, I don't think he's gonna go higher. Some people might say he could end up being higher than that, but I think 84 is fair because I think his overall rating is 85. I'm pretty sure that's what his overall is. So I think that's more than likely what they're going to end up giving him is an 84 overall. He could be an 83 overall Emerald. Like, he was an 81 last year, but I find it hard to believe the third best player on a championship team isn't going to get a Sapphire card. I find that really, really hard to believe, to be completely honest. So I think Drew Holiday deservingly will get his Sapphire card this year. So then we got Deandre Ayton. This is one of those weird ones. Like, I think Deandre Ayton was rated too high last year. Like, I was like, oh, I remember coming into the game being like, what the hell has Deandre Ayton done to be rated higher than Nikola Vucevic? But this season, the guy played well. In terms of his, like, again, statistical output, his stats, he didn't put up as many points. He didn't put up as many rebounds as he did in 1920. But, I mean, he shot the ball way better. And was also, again, part of a team that made the NBA Finals. He had a really solid playoffs, made some huge plays in the playoffs. And I actually genuinely think that Deandre Ayton is going to be an 84 overall. Like, he was so good that he had Jalen Rose on national TV demanding that he made the Olympics team over Kevin Love, despite the fact that he's already played international basketball for the Bahamas and therefore cannot change nationalities. I'm pretty sure you can change nationalities as long as you haven't played for the other country, and he has played for the Bahamas. He's so good that the US, people are demanding him play for a US team, and he's not even American. But yeah, then we have got LaMelo Ball. So LaMelo Ball was Rookie of the Year. Again, there's no point if you're looking at him just purely statistical output, like, it's not going to look outstanding. His 3-point percentage was actually pretty decent, 35. His field goal percentage wasn't that high. But at the end of the day, he started off, like, he wasn't starting every game at the start. They were trying to just kind of ease him in. And once he got it going, he had a fantastic season. It was a toss-up between him and Anthony Edwards for Rookie of the Year. I think the fact that he only played 51 games and only started 31 meant that Anthony Edwards maybe edged it based on just body of work for the season. But I mean, you can't really complain about LaMelo Ball. And I think LaMelo Ball, as well as Anthony Edwards, at that, will end up being an 82 overall Emerald. I think 82 overall is completely fair for LaMelo right here. I think any higher is kind of gassing. He might be an 83 overall. I think at an 85 rating, I think he's not going to be a Sapphire. I think that is gassing it. He didn't have a rookie year as dominant as Zion had in Spurs. He had a rookie year quite similar to Ja Morant, and Ja Morant was an 82 last year. Like, he's not going to be a Sapphire like Zion Williamson was in NBA 2K21. He's not going to be a Sapphire like Luka Doncic was in NBA 2K20. He wasn't that type of revelation as a rookie, but I think that 82 overall is perfectly fair. Then we got Jordan Clarkson, one of kind of the surprise players of the season. Like, Jordan Clarkson, in 1920, he was coming off the bench for Cleveland and Utah. He wasn't doing too much. And, like, to be honest, in 18-19, he was still averaging 17 off the bench for Cleveland after, honestly, a not great 2018 season once he got traded to the Cavs. But he ended up averaging 18.4 points per game and winning 6th Man of the Year for the Utah Jazz, who were the best team in the NBA record-wise. So I think there's no question about it, he's going up to an Emerald. I think maybe I'm gassing at 82, maybe 80s. Maybe 80s fair, but he's going to an Emerald. There's no question about that. He's going to an Emerald. Jordan Clarkson had a fantastic year, and that is a deserved rating. Then this is going to be the one that shocks people. Draymond Green. Yeah, he averaged a triple single, 7.6 rebounds, or sorry, 7.7 rebounds and 9 assists. That's 9 assists. He averaged 1.5 more assists than he ever had in his career. He had a more than solid year. When he was on the floor, him and Steph were on the floor, the Warriors looked good. He showed that there's no question about it. Like, if you look at the Golden State Warriors roster for regular teams, Wiggins was rated higher than him last year. And look, Wiggins was actually half decent. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say he wasn't. Wiggins was half decent for the Warriors this year. But I mean, there is no reason for Draymond not to be an Emerald. I'm not going to gas it and make him a Sapphire and say he should be a Sapphire, because he shouldn't. He shouldn't. There's no question about it. Draymond is not at his height. He's not at his peak. He's not where he was in 2015 to 2018 Draymond Green, where he averaged above 10 points every single one of those years. He averaged more steals, but I mean, he belongs as an 80. No doubt about it. Draymond Green belongs in here as an 80 overall. He's definitely one of the more underrated players in the NBA, and he plays a role. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So we got Luka Doncic, Damian Lillard, Devin Booker, Russell Westbrook, Drew Holiday, Deandre Ayton, LaMelo Ball, Jordan Clarkson, and Draymond Green, who I believe should be updated. We're upgrading NBA 2K22 MyTEAM. So if that's the video, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.